Hey guys, this is the Owl 2 fight. You're going to only be able to access this fight during the purification ending. This is actually in Hirata Estate, in the same place you fought Lady Butterfly. Now this is a very challenging fight. He is going to move very fast and very quick. So there's several things that you really kind of have to look out for. First is he's going to do that little zigzag pattern, and then he'll finish it with a unblockable arm sweep, or he'll transition into a thrust if you're further away. So be careful of that. Now, one of the most problematic things in this fight is going to be is when he throws his firecrackers, and it happens so quick and you have to respond very quickly. When he throws it, you want to back up. When he throws it, one of a few things will happen. Either he'll just kind of stand there and do nothing, or he'll do a sword sweep in the actual firecrackers. It's kind of hard to see it. He just did it there. And he can also come through it with either a charge or a thrust. So when he throws his firecrackers, I'm going to back up and react to either his charge or his thrust. If he thrusts, I'm going to use the mikiri counter to combat that. Now it's very tough to kind of anticipate when he's going to throw the firecrackers. You'll see him kind of back up, and then you'll see him throw this black smoke, which of course is the indication that the firecrackers is coming. When you're close up to him, you can kind of get clued in on it coming. When he does a little hip check, he'll kind of like bump you with his hip and back up, at which point you need to then back up because he's going to throw his firecrackers. He will also do this overhead sword attack. So if you're standing in front of him, he'll raise his sword up in the air, and there's about a 3-second delay before he comes and slams it down. Now, you have to stand kind of in front of him. During that time, you can hit him once, maybe even twice if you're quick. But you have to then evade, step dodge away to the right or left. There it is. And that time I went backwards. That was probably the worst thing you can do. If you move too early, he'll actually cancel out of that overhead swing and then do like a sweep or something with the sword. So be very careful of his little zigzag unblockable. When he does that, I just jump over it typically. You can also cancel it out just by hitting him. You also, if you have distance, he will throw shurikens at you. There's the cloud, and then he did the charge, so I did the mikiri counter on him. There's the zigzag, jump over his attack. There's the overhead. If you can evade that, you can hit him once while he's holding his sword up, and then if you evade it, you can then get behind him and get him for 1 or 2 attacks. And that is phase 1. Now phase 2 is actually going to be almost identical to phase 1. In fact, this is only the second time I got into phase 2, so I was a little hesitant about kind of going in here as quickly as I could. But it's basically going to be the exact same thing, except you see there's an owl flying around the arena. At any point, he can actually teleport from his current position, disappear, and then reappear wherever the owl is located. Also, the owl will eventually kind of charge up and it'll turn into fire as it is right there, and then he'll just do one flame attack on the ground, which is not very difficult to jump over. So he just did the little hip check, kind of backed away, so I knew the firecrackers was coming and I backed up. I was having a lot of trouble with this fight until I was able to kind of anticipate when the firecrackers were coming. You can see I got caught in it a little bit there. If you get caught in it, it'll do only a little damage, but more importantly, it'll kind of stun you for a second, leaving you open to something much, much deadlier. Here comes the owl flame. I should not have been running towards him again. This is only my second time during second phase. I probably should have backed away and made sure I was able to jump over it, but whatever, it worked. Now he has this little nasty move. If you get too close, slam me down to the ground, and will one-hit kill you. But other than that, it's going to be the exact same fight. So go in, and it's very much like the first time you fought Owl on top of the castle. You're going to have to deflect all of his melee attacks, but because he does the fireworks and will back up, throw the firecrackers, you got to just be careful that you're not going to be able to sit in the melee range with him the entire time. That time he threw the firecrackers and actually stepped through it. Maybe a little fortunate for me. There's the overhead. And he's going to disappear, reappear at some position wherever the owl is located. A lot of times that's going to be like right next to you, or right on top of you. And when he comes out, he'll hit you right away. So oh, you see right there, he did the overhead, and I evaded too quickly, so he canceled out of it. So be prepared when he disappears to try to have an idea of where the owl is. I try to run away from wherever the owl is located. That way he's not going to just pop up right behind me. And I got hit with the firecrackers. Got lucky he didn't come charge me. So this is a fight that I really struggled with for over an hour during phase 1. I couldn't even get him to half health. It wasn't really until I was able to get past the firecrackers and just kind of anticipate when that was coming. Again, if he does his little zigzaggy pattern and if you're far away, he can oftentimes, most of the time, will transition into a counterable thrust. That time he threw the firecrackers and just charged at me. Evade the overhead at the last second. Comes the owl. So this is probably one of the most challenging boss fights in the game, with the exception of Saint Sword Ishin at the very end. And that's only if you don't cheese that. But with any fight, just kind of understanding his moveset, knowing how to react to any one of his attacks is the key. But Owl Father version here has a lot of different attacks, and that's kind of what makes it challenging. You just have a lot you have to learn, a lot of muscle memory you got to incorporate. Just as long as you're very mindful of his firecrackers. Then he did the thrust there, and I was not able to counter it, so he actually transitions into an AoE attack. So if that does happen, if you do miss that thrust and you don't counter it, just evade in your area, kind of evade around him if you can. And finally, there you go. Of course, we're going to get a trophy. We're going to get a item that we need for the purification ending. Again, you can only access this version of Hirata Estate using a bell you acquired during the purification ending. So there you go, Father Suppressed. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. Please like the video and, of course, subscribe.